Hello everyone, Transformers review, and today I'll be reviewing the Transformers Siege War for Cybertron Trilogy 35th Anniversary Megatron, which is the cel-shaded version of the Cybertronian tank mode, but it looks close enough it could be Earth, whatever, because the coloration doesn't have all the bow damage and all that, and obviously, as you can see, he is autographed by Frank Welker himself, got it autographed in person, which is really awesome. I'll talk more about that on my Christmas special. But it was awesome. The figure obviously is the standard Siege Megatron mold. I'm not sure if I reviewed him. I need to look at my history. But even if I did, it wouldn't hurt to do a bit of a refresher, especially considering how much I like this, well, not the mold, but just this figure specifically because of, autograph and all that. He does come with a sword accessory, which is just the barrel of the extension of the barrel for tank mode. You can obviously also swing this around if you just want to have him holding like another gun or having a, like a sword gun combo thing going on. There's a number of things you can do with that. Another thing that I also noticed I think is kind of cool if you so desire to do is you can put it up there, which I think looks kind of cool. Although you gotta make sure that's clipped together so it looks fairly decent. But honestly, as far as Megatron looking as close to G1 Megatron as possible, it's just best to have him like that without this accessory, although you can't have tank mode without this. Of course, it is standard Siege, so it was a little bit before they started really getting into the really articulated stuff. So it's still pretty good, just not as good as some of the more recent Earthrise. Earthrise also falls in that category being better, but it was Earthrise and leading into Legacy where it really started to get really good again. But as you can see, it's just a cel-shaded Megatron, very reminiscent, I would say, of Transformers Devastation. It's a game that my brothers played. I unfortunately have not been able to play. I would love to at some point. Heard that it's fairly good. And so like I said, he's cel-shaded. Come on, focus camera. And then you can see his Frank. The F, in my opinion, looks kind of like a P, but it is like a lowercase capital cursive F. If you look at it closely, it's just instead of doing a standard capital cursive F, he does a lowercase f just really big. So at first it looks like a P, but it's actually obviously an F. And then Welker. So that's really cool. I think that's awesome. And then, of course, the detail on his chest or torso. And then you can just see the cel shading all around, dark grays or lighter grays on the darker plastic. And he just looks pretty cool all around. I do like the cel shading on the barrel of his fusion cannon. I just think he's pretty cool color look-wise. But the problem is, due to he does have angle tiltage, but it's really awkward. And then also his backpack makes him pretty back heavy, so it doesn't take much for him to fall over backwards. And then another big thing, I know we've gotten kind of spoiled with it to a degree, even on some of the smaller figures. There is no wrist rotation because, like I said, this is just a Siege Megatron mold. And I'm kind of glad that I got him again because now I can have a Megatron with my my Earthrise Optimus Prime and all the accessories that came with Centurion drone that had like all the upgrade stuff for like Earthrise Optimus Prime with the trailer and all that, and some stuff for Megatron, so it's nice to have them all together. Anyway, for comparison, let's go ahead and bring in Earthrise Optimus Prime. They look pretty good together. I really do want to get Commander Class Optimus Prime, but he is a bit bigger. I don't know how much bigger, but he is significantly bigger from what I've heard. But of course, like he's hard to get a hold of so far. So if I'm lucky, I'll be able to get him later on. Articulation. Head is on a ball joint. He can look up and down. He gets a little bit of wibbly wobbly, but not much. Head should be able to do a 360, but the chin kind of gets in the way, so he can only look side to side. And then I guess you could say you can look down a little bit, but that's more of a transformation panel. You don't want to but if you pull up on it, it lifts that up, so kind of just need to keep it there if you want it to look good. Arms can go out that far. can do a full 360, get elbow rotation, but it's decent enough, I guess, although it is similar to the thigh rotation thing, or knee rotation versus thigh rotation. Obviously, like I said, nothing at the wrist. You do have waist rotation, but that does get in the way of the backpack just a little bit. He can do the full splits. Likes to go forward that far, back that far. If you lift that up, go that far back. Get thigh rotation. Little under 90-degree bend, but pretty much 90-degree bend at the knee. And like I said, he does have ankle tiltage, but it is a little fickled. And then you also, I guess if you want to, you can do a sumo squat kind of thing, but that's more of a transformation hinge. And then, like I said, kind of back heavy, so you kind of have to have him leaning forward a little bit so that he doesn't fall over. But to be fair, I'm probably, because he is autographed, I'm probably just going to keep him in his box most of the time. And there we have Megatron in his tank mode, and I think it's pretty good. I think it's a little bit better than the Earth mode tank Megatron that they had, which the only mold I currently have of that one is the Generation Selects G2 Megatron, which I think is pretty cool. But I think that this still is at least in these colors, is passably could be an Earth tank. So I think that's kind of cool. And then like I said, I like the way that it doesn't feel as cheap, because the other one, it's like a sword shield thing that doesn't come apart, doesn't flip around to make a more cohesive looking sword, but it does make a front that looks a little more streamlined, like an Earth tank, so it does look a little more accurate in that regard. But I do like the way this all goes together. And then of course you can get turret rotation. Don't really get any up and down motion right here, but that's kind of understandable. And of course, I mean, you can tell where his legs are and his arms, but I'd say that they're still pretty well. I think it works really well together like that. I will say my only concern with where the autograph is for tank mode is that fortunately the chest does sit a little bit lower than the wheels, or higher up than the wheels. But obviously you probably won't want to be rolling them around on an uneven surface, because then I'd be more likely to rub the autograph against something. And now it is a very resilient ink. I do believe the pen I got is supposed to be meant for science settings, where it's beakers that have all sorts of things that you get all over them, high temperature, low temperature, and it's supposed to be super resilient. So hopefully nothing's gonna. Obviously, I'm not gonna rub on it to see how long it will stay on, but I still want to, of course, take necessary precautions just to make sure nothing untoward happens to the signature. And of course, for comparison, here we have him with Earthrise Optimus Prime, and see how they look together. I will admit, my biggest critique of this guy, I might have said it when I first got him, but assuming I did a review, I'm pretty sure I did a review of him. I'm almost certain I did. I'll have to look back at that again. But sometimes when you have so many videos, you can't forget what you've done. Anyway, regardless, snap-on tires in the back. But I think they look pretty good together. I will say I am definitely looking forward to getting Commander Class Optimus Prime if I get the opportunity, because I miss out on Ultramax. I really hope they re-release Ultramax. I really wanted him to. But anyway, I'd say that he's still a really good version of this character for a G1 representation, although the Studio Series 86 Commander Class is more cartoon accurate than Earthrise, but I'd say Earthrise is still really good. I will say they're about the same size in robot mode, but in vehicle mode, Optimus definitely shrinks down, and Megatron does have quite a bit of a bulk, but that's mostly in his backpack, I think. But I still think they look pretty cool. You know, leader of the Decepticons, leader of the Autobots. I know they're not going to make a gun mode for the Commander class Megatron that they're likely going to make for the Series 86, but I really hope they make a robot mode that looks like G1 Megatron without any visible tank kibble. Even if the tank mode looks atrocious, I'd rather that than it be, well, essentially an upscaled version of something like this. Not that I have any problem with it, because I think, honestly, if they were to rewrite history, so to speak, I don't think, I mean, some G1ers are going to hate me for saying this, but I think as far as, like, it wouldn't have been the worst thing if he had ended up being a tank originally instead of a gun, although I think the Walter P-38 is absolutely amazing. I think it was cool, perfect mode for a weapon, you know, being a weapon, like, I mean, a tank is also a weapon, but I just think it's so cool because it's like the epitome of, like, that's what the leader of the bad guys would turn into, and I thought that, and I've always thought that was really cool. But anyway, that's pretty much it. There's not much else to say other than the story of how I got the signature and all that. But like I said, Christmas special will be all that. But yeah, that's, like I said, it's pretty much it for Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy 35th Anniversary Cell Shaded Megatron. And if you like this review and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. Till next time, have a good one, everyone.